James, how are you doing today?
Real good. How are you, Max?
I'm doing great, sir. Give me where are you located at right now?
So I'm in Eagle, Idaho, which is just a little city outside of the capital, Boise, Idaho.
How long have you been there now?
Going on just over 3 years now, man. Time's flying.
Time goes quick.
Or maybe four. No, three.
Yeah. Were you born and raised out there or California kid? Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in Boise, graduated high school, joined the Marines, got stationed down in Camp Pendleton. And then once I got out of the Marines, I stayed in Orange County, and that's where I met you.
Yeah, I got lucky with that one. I know that they have a nickname for you at the gym. They started calling you Bazooka James as a GI Joe, and I know we have a lot of military kids that have come through our doors, and none of them ever got a cool ass GI Joe nickname. By the way, so I would be very proud of that one. Maybe I'm a little jealous too. To be honest, give me a little bit of history going through like the Marine background, kind of a condensed version of what brought you from your Marine background, your training, your deployment, or whatever brought you to kind of coaching. Give me your coaching history.
Yeah, so I've always been into like physical fitness, and I've always been pretty decent at physical fitness. Like growing up, I was in the Young Marines program, and that had a big emphasis on like being in shape. So joining the Marines, I wanted to go into like the special operations side of things. And obviously you need to be in pretty good shape to make it through that training pipeline. So I never had any struggles getting through the training with my fitness. Made it through that pipeline, which was boot camp, school of infantry, the basic reconnaissance course after you go through all the indoctrination stuff with that, jump school, dive school, free fall school, made it into a platoon, deployed with them. In that deployment, that's where I started really getting into CrossFit, and I had a better understanding of the CrossFit methodology than a lot of my teammates. So that's where I kind of got into teaching and coaching, helping those guys out with those more complex movements. After I deployed, I realized that I wanted to get out so I could spend some more time with my wife, and I had to figure out what I was going to do. And I'm like, well, I always, I've always been like a teacher. And I really enjoy working out, so maybe I'll get into like some personal training. And that's where I reached out to Brian McKenzie. He was in Fountain Valley at the time, and I was living in Huntington Beach. And I was like, dude, Brian McKenzie, this guy, he's like a philosopher basically.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good dude. So he was awesome enough to bring me in and kind of like let me be mentored by him. And man, what a blessing that was, because, him really donating some time of his to teach me, his methodologies really set me up for success. And then the next step from there was getting into your gym, and you were awesome enough to take me on and take me under your wing and show me your ways, man. So it's really been a great journey for me to get two sides of styles, the human performance side with Brian, and then the real CrossFit style with you. And that's how I got there, man.
I do know that as a coach, you're probably one of the best to articulate what's needed from you, because you're real well-spoken. And then at the same time, you're not like me where you can get real fired. I mean, you obviously can get fired up. You just start yelling at people. So like you can really like dig into people fairly well without having to put a lot of stress on your end. So I've always appreciated that as a coach. That was something. So when I hire coaches or have people around me, it's something that I admire, that I want in my coaching, that I I'm like, ooh, hey, I need to learn this. So I'm gonna see if I can learn from him. What kind of drives you your coaching daily? Like what drives you to coach people daily?
Man, just the differences in everybody. Like I'd say, I have like about 20 hours of personal training a week, and half of it's people that like are like on a weight loss program. They're just trying to, lose a ton of weight and improve their fitness. And then the other half is like technique based, people that want to like develop their muscle ups, develop their weightlifting. So just the variety that I have really, it gives me a lot of, stuff to work on with them and with myself. So it's just the daily challenge,
Okay.
really keeps me going.
What's your ideal perfect athlete, client, or member?
My ideal client would be somebody that wants to be there, is willing to learn and, puts out. I have a few clients that are, I don't know what they're paying me for, man. Like, I'm like, what are you doing wasting your time and money? You don't even want to be here. But I guess that's what I'm there for, is,
Yeah.
to push
Yeah.
them and make them work.
Yeah, the worst thing I could have done when I was younger is like get rid of people like that. Like I used to fire people like that. Like,
Yeah.
you're paying me $120 an hour, and you're even asking me to schedule 2 hours a day. You're paying me close to $5,000 a month. This is pointless. You're fired. And then now I'm like, if I just had 3 of those people, I'd never work and I'd make 15. Like, so do not
Exactly.
now I love kids. Yeah, totally. That's awesome. Maybe just like having that. That's awesome. What is your non-ideal client, member, or athlete?
My non-ideal member or client would be, somebody that continues to follow the program but makes no changes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on, man? Like, I need to figure out how to be a better coach for you or something, but why aren't you changing?
That's funny. Because when people tell me, like, they'll be like, oh, shoot, I got a PR and we haven't tested that in a while. I'm like, yeah, I know. If not, I was going to have to go back and reread books. And then people like that are getting better. I'm like, hey, if you don't get better, I'm going to have to actually start reading books again. I don't understand what's happening.
That's exactly right, man.
This is crazy. Can you give me kind of a funny coach's story of a year situation or
dude,
member?
I think one of the funniest things, and this is probably like pretty inappropriate and gonna make people feel really like self-conscious, but dude, when you're in the gym and you're working hard, sometimes you let a little toot out or like fart. And it happens all the time, but dude, it just cracks me up, man. Like I have this one guy, he's older. He'll definitely not see this, but he's like 71. And every day, like in the warm up, dude, he's just like ripping them. And he'll always apologize. And I'm like, dude, it's okay. It happens, man. No problem.
Do you use the cinnamon rule out there?
What's that?
You got to start using the cinnamon rule. So I have a cinnamon rule at 6 a.m. that if you fart or any time in the gym that you fart, you have to just call cinnamon. No hard feelings, no big deal. But the problem with it is that if you fart and you don't call it, next thing you know, everybody's like a standoff. Everybody's eyeballing everybody. And nothing worse than like a bunch of your members or your athletes looking at you thinking you're a dirty old coach farting. And it's like, no, it was one of you guys. So we use the cinnamon rule. You have to yell cinnamon if you fart in the gym. Especially
I'm going to start implementing that, man. That's a good one.
It's nice. Same thing. Talk about giggling. People will giggle. And so what is your favorite program?
Dude, my favorite program is yours, man. I've been on it for 4 years. And man, I just keep getting better. Obviously, there's seasons where like I'm like, man, I'm getting worse. But then the next season, I'm better. I'm stronger than I ever have been. I'm quicker than I ever have been. There's just no limits.
Yeah, there isn't. That cyclical cycle, man, when that program keeps working itself over and over, it definitely works well. What would be your coach's message that you would want to actually kind of get out there, what is your coaching message?
My coach's message would be that we're in the long game. So this isn't something that, we're just going to do for the summer or for the year. This is like a lifestyle, and you need to make small incremental changes to sustain this and progress in this and just be better than you were the last year. And I like to practice what I preach, and that's like when I met you and I decided that I was going to get on your program. Even when I left the gym and moved up to Idaho, I'm still following it, and I plan on following it for as long as you're doing it.
Thank you.
Because this is the long game, and I'm going to be 28 next month, and I plan on doing this until forever. So that's my message.
I don't get it. I don't get how people want to be a coach and then they don't want to work out. They don't want to train regularly. They don't want to be a part of like actually interacting with their members or with their like clientele. They want somebody else to do it. Like that's just baffling to me. So that's awesome. What would be the type of community that you are building or want to build? Like what's the group that's around you? What do you want them to kind of put forth into like the community and stuff like that?
Yeah, the community that, I like to see is one that, you're building relationships in. So you're not just there to work out together, but you get to know each other. I really make it a point to remember people's names and their kids and what's going on in their lives. So just people actually building relationships within the gym, and the consistency in the community of like people attending the same classes, coaches coaching the same classes. I think that really fosters like a really good community that loves each other.
Yeah, love is key. James, I apologize and I thank you for being here today. Sorry that we did a very, very fast condensed version for you. I definitely will get you back on. I should have recorded our conversation prior to, but it was like our personal. So I didn't really want to put that out.
No worries.
But James, I want to say, and I want to take this time to say thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey as an athlete and as a coach. And I really, really value any time that I've had with you hands-on. And even now today, like the texts I get from you or the calls that I get, it means so much to me, man. Like you are someone who shows me that, look, if I believe in what I'm doing and I'm very like interacting with who I'm working with, I can really develop well. And you are someone who doesn't use me that much, but man, when you do, I really do appreciate everything that your questions, your statements. I miss you every day, man. I really, really do.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate you, and thank you so much for helping me out, man. And we got to do this more often.
Yeah, I'll make sure I do for sure. Next month I'm calling you again. You're gonna be my first reboot for sure over Skip and all of them. So
sweet.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Max.
Yeah, man.